Hi. The traveler crested the hill in the heat of the day as his thirst overwhelmed him. The dryness of the mountains parched his lips. He longed for a cool drink. His shirt was drenched in sweat. He walked along the mountain trail as the sun blazed his shadow onto the ground. He continued onward, then he heard the sound of running water. He rounded the rocky bend and saw a small trickle of clear water streaming from a rock. "Oh, thank God!" he said in a tone of gratitude. He quickly made his way to the source of the spring and knelt on a large rock under its stream. The water poured from a copper pipe that was stuck into the rock, and it offered its refreshment to the traveler. He cupped his hands to sip the cool water until his thirst was satiated. He removed his boots and socks to put his hot, sweaty feet under the stream of water. He splashed handfuls of water onto his face and the back of his sunburnt neck. He washed his sweaty socks and shirt in the life-giving stream. Then he spread them out to dry in the sunshine. He laid back and rested while his dirty feet enjoyed the water's cooling flow. He noticed that on the flat rock directly under the water stream, there were many different shaped rocks placed neatly off to the side in a line. He wondered why they were there. He looked around and assumed that the stones must have fallen from the hillside and gathered there over time. He picked them up and studied them. He felt their textures and noticed their shapes. He weighed them in his hands. Then, one by one, he threw them down into the valley. He sat for some time and then put on his socks and shoes. He grabbed his shirt, stood up, and then relieved himself on the trail in front of the water spring. The traveler then walked further on in the direction of his travel, never to return to this spot again. Many hours later, as the heat from the sun died down, many people came along singing while walking to the spring to retrieve their water that would supply them for the next day. They came from the small village in which they lived that rested on the hillside below. Each one carried a different vessel to collect their water. As they approached the stream, they noticed the smell of urine. They stopped singing and looked around. They saw that the large flat stone under the spring had been moved as if someone had been sitting on it. They looked and also saw that each of their neatly placed stones that when positioned just right would prop up their water vessels so that they would not tip over as they filled them. The two men urged the large, flat, heavy stone back into position while the women searched for some stones that would replace the ones that the careless traveler threw into the valley for his thoughtless amusement. Eventually, the villagers filled their vessels and returned home walking the trail in the darkness. It will be some time before each one finds the perfect stone to replace those that were thrown away. They could line them up neatly for their daily use, as it always had been. I hope this helps someone in the world. Shalom.